Hold on. We going live now. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I want to thank you guys for tuning in to the Free Texas Campaign Voices from Behind the Walls of Tdcj. My special guest today is going to be Mr. James Legate. Of course, for those that do not know who I am the queen of collaboration known across these social media streets. But my name is Angela. And my whole desire is to be the change that I desire to see in this world. And I want to shed a little light on these various cases in TDCJ. Of course, we want to shed light on the corruption in the state of Texas, long overdue. And we are pleading and crying out and reaching out for help. So if you are tuning in to this live, or if you've catched the replay and you have resources, or if you can be of any benefit and would like to reach out, please reach out to me. Free Texas Campaign at gmail.com. Of course, you can always get me right here on Facebook or on YouTube. Again, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. And if you would, please share this in your circle of influence. Mr. Legate, if you would, please introduce yourself.
Thank you, Angela. Hello, people out there. My name is James Legate. In August 1999, I was convicted for the September 3rd, 1998 murder of a man by the name of Ernesto Eddie Garcia. The news media dubbed him as the Bingo King because not of his profitable bingo parlors, but because of he legalized bingo in the state of Texas. He was a very highly influential person who had new judges, lawyers, congressmen, senators, all these high people. So he was a pretty high profile case. I was sentenced to 99 years under the pretense that the state used a man by the name of Jesse Hernandez, who claimed that he overheard a man by the name of Pedro Zamora have me commit this murder. Although he had no evidence to corroborate his story, even though he said that two other people named Robert Montes and Gilbert De Hoyos were at this so-called meeting when this took place. My conviction is actually based on fabricated evidence, false evidence. Hello?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought it hung up. On fabricated evidence. There is no evidence whatsoever. They say that my briefcase, because I had no reason to be in a home health care office at the time of the murder, which I explained that I was looking for a woman by the name of Marilyn Maddox for a dealership by the name of Rose Sports Cars. But the owner was Ali Kalia, who also testified in my trial and corroborated this claim. The state argued that this woman didn't even exist, did not even work there. Well, later it came out to be that she did. She just didn't happen to work there at the time that I showed up at the home health place where the murder took place. They said they found all my stuff, my dealer tags, business cards, my driver's license, everything strewed on the floor of the scene of the crime. In fact, if you go to YouTube, you can see the documentary, and it shows the scene of the crime under conviction / the Bingo King murder. You'll see everything that's on the floor, all the blood and all this, which I didn't have none. Several witnesses said they did see a guy wearing black clothing running out, but there was also a guy wearing white clothes. Well, they trying to put me in the dark clothes for Mr. Garcia was actually trying to reach and grab him before he fell to his death. The state clearly argued the fact that there was a gun found, but there was no fingerprints. Nothing that can lead the gun to anywhere except that this guy named Jesse Hernandez, after he had claimed several times that he knew nothing of the case until they were going to actually charge him with the case, that he said he gave me the gun. Although there's no corroborating evidence there either, even though he said he gave it to me, he don't have no witnesses to verify this, and he even claimed this at trial. However, they edited my transcripts and removed this statement from my file, although I don't have proof of this. I've been trying to for years. I don't have any proof trying to get the actual video and film of of my trial, which I'm sure can substantiate this claim. You gotta excuse me because I'm going through so much at one time. They did a gunshot residue test on me, approximately 20-25 minutes after the murder. They said the gunshot residue test showed that there was no gunshot residue found on the left or right on my right hand. But they used a small clause that says it's indeterminate to indicate whether I fired a weapon, handled a weapon, or was in proximity of a weapon being discharged. This is what gave the prosecutors the leverage of showing, well, you see, just because it doesn't show anything doesn't mean that he didn't shoot it. It was a snub-nosed 38 taped up, no fingerprints on the gun, no fingerprints on the safe, no fingerprints on the bullet, no gunshot residue test, no gunshot residue found on my left or right hand. Now, they had no other evidence, nothing, that can actually corroborate Jesse Hernandez's statement. As I continued to fight my case after I got sentenced to 99 years, we rehired my attorney to do an investigation into the prosecutor's files, where my attorney and another investigator by the name of James McCain found a memo that was actually written by the state's own investigator that showed that he tried to subpoena the Miss Maddox that I was looking for. And at that moment that she saw the subpoena, my name on the subpoena, she clearly said he didn't do it. Well, that surprised the investigator, so he stopped right there and thought it'd be best if he speaks with the prosecutor. Well, when my attorney found this, which he gave me an affidavit to, he was surprised by this because everything was denoted what he was provided, and this was not even provided to him. Because had it been, he would have used it during our trial. Well, I did raise this in trying to challenge my conviction. The state in their own affidavit clearly refuted this, saying that she spoke with this witness, and that she clearly said that she never told her investigator that I didn't do it. In fact, that clearly shows that she's just calling her own investigator a liar, that he made this up. Well, the question I kept on posing that I never could get, well, if this was the case, why hide her? Why not just use her against me? But of course, all else failed. Everything failed. Everything I found failed. Well, we did have and you can verify this by going to Texas Observer magazine and looking at the May 20th, 2011 article entitled "Burden of Proof." It'll talk about the story. Also, in 2018, a woman by the name of Isis Romero from KSAT 12 News in San Antonio contacted me about a letter I wrote her if she can help me with producing a documentary to my case, which she got permission and did. Those 20 years later, we discovered, because, let me go back for a moment. Pedro Zamora, if you recall me mentioning him, he was said that he had me commit this murder. Well, during trial, it came out that Pedro Zamora was dead. He was no longer with it. He was killed in Mexico, something that they even have an affidavit to that fact. Well, going back to this documentary that Ms. Romero produced, they found out that Pedro Zamora was indeed alive, living in Mexico. So when Ms. Romero brought this to my attention, I was like, wow, well, did you bring it up to the prosecutor? And she says, yes, we did. But according to the prosecutor, Mr. Zamora, it was more likely that Mr. Zamora would never face any criminal charges because there was no independent corroboration to bring a case against him. And I was like, well, if that's the case, how can you convict me by using him as being the person who hired me to do this here? Well, they also found out that Jesse Hernandez wasn't even Jesse Hernandez. His actual name was Juan Antonio Hernandez. He was actually using his brother's name, who lived out in Illinois somewhere. And they reached out to him too, and he said he never knew anything about this or what his brother was into. These are the evidence that was actually used against me. But if you look at everything, you can tell by what the prosecutor used and the evidence that has been discovered lately, it refutes all this. It's clear that I saw the prosecutor at the punishing stage that said you fabricated all this. You know that you're lying. And what got to me was that because my attorneys, they came to me, which was William F. Davidson and Bill Bergerman, who is now deceased, came to me at the county jail and told me, look, we want to change our strategy. I said, what are you talking about? He says, we want to do a self-defense plea. I said, no, because you're lying right there. That's almost like saying that I had a gun. It's not true. I said, I didn't hire you to lie. I hired you to defend me. And I'm not guilty of this claim, of this crime, you know? So anyway, they did it against my authority. They went and they asked the judge, George, you know, if possible, I'd like to get instructions to the jurors on self-defense. Although the judge denied this request, I'm pretty sure it inflamed the minds of the jurors into thinking, wow, if he's saying he's innocent, why would they want to ask for a self-defense instruction? Well, these are the things that, in a nutshell, that I'm trying to bring out to you guys, because there's so much to my case that needs to be looked at. I'm still fighting. I got 25 years for a crime that I haven't done, and I'm not giving up. I won't ever give up. I know that God has made all this possible. He made it possible for Miss Angela Smith to get a hold of me and to share my story, and I praise God for this. And I'm just praising and praying and hoping that if anybody out there can have any suggestions or anything, please contact Miss Smith so she can let me know and see whatever else that we might be able to do. So if Miss Smith has anything to ask, or if anybody else has to ask, I'll be more than happy to answer.
Yes, I have a question. So,
yes, ma'am.
I hear you say that there were people that saw individuals running from. So the other guy that they saw running from the facility, what happened to him?
Nothing. We don't know. I'm the only one that they got. In fact,
so how do they know which one was you? If they, I mean, how did they determine who was who? And they never got the other guy.
That's just it. They never did. I had a lineup, right? Well, actually, it wasn't even a lineup. I was the only person in this lineup. And they had that gentleman by the name of Alfred Salazar getting off his car. And as soon as he was getting off his car, he seen a guy run by, past, wearing white, but he saw a guy run with Mr. Garcia behind him trying to grab him when he fell. And he said that guy took a quick left. Now, there was a guy on the corner of the phone right there. He said he seen a guy in a white shirt run straight across the parking lot to the street. Okay? So, there's witnesses to trying to say that I had a black shirt on. But when they went into the lineup, so-called lineup, with me the only person, they told him, look, this is the suspect. I'm wearing white. Well, Mr. Salazar, he came out and testified that I looked similar to the guy. That the guy that he saw had black and I had a white shirt on. So they just took that and ran with it. I don't know what it could have been. I don't know if it could have been my past history, which I have no violence in my past history, but they did use that against me. So everybody said, yes, I saw him in a black tuxedo. They used.
So nobody could collaborate what you had on, because I as I watched the video, I saw that before you even went to the office, that you had a beer with a friend
Right.
So they could not collaborate what you had on.
Well, it's funny because the bartenders there said that I was wearing dark clothes, but her sister, who was also one of the witnesses who went through the lineup, so-called, said that I had a white shirt on.
So nobody had cameras at that time. Nobody had cameras at that time, because I know businesses have cameras. No one had cameras in that area at that time. You got a gas station across the street. I'm sure they had cameras.
Yes, they did. In fact, my attorneys went to go to view the cameras, but they said they record over them every 7 days. Now, there was a guy by the name of Dale Heine who worked for a dealership, right? And when I seen him as I was at the stop and go, we ran into each other. He says, hey, what are you doing? And I said, because he was just came from the car auction. I said, I'm looking for a Marilyn Maddox. I'm trying to get her car. He goes, well, look, I know her son, Chris. He goes, he bailed on me on a car also. If you want that job also, you can pick up the papers at my office, which I was going to do. Because I worked for Advantage Auto Finance, right? And I started the repossession center there. I started the collection agency there with this company, and I was doing pretty good. I mean, I was doing good. I go out and I look for cars at night, and I call a record by the name of Springer Towing, and I have them pick up the car. I didn't do the repo personally. All I did was just hunt it down. I hunt down the cars, and then I call the record, and then they do it. They do the repossession. I just call it into the police departments and everything and tell them what I'm doing, who authorized it, what dealership, what's the name of the owner. I give them the VIN number. I give them everything to the vehicle. But other than that, anyway, Del Heine, when he went to go and testify for me, they wouldn't let him testify. That was my alibi witness regarding Marilyn Maddox. Now, he did give an affidavit to that fact because he says, look, because they didn't let him testify, and he would have told him exactly what had transpired that day. But the prosecutor saying, well, that's hearsay. So the judge, which was
well, it sounds like to me a lot of their evidence is hearsay. So how could they say that yours is hearsay and they use hearsay to convict you?
Exactly. They were just looking for a conviction, and who else but me? I mean, I had been in trouble before back in the '80s for drugs, and I'm not disputing that, and I'm not happy about it, but that's a fact. I don't know if it was because I was on parole at the time, because even the prosecutor put in my file, I recommend that the defendant never be given parole because he committed this crime while on parole, which I never did. I didn't do nothing. I'm innocent of this crime. All the evidence can point to it, but I cannot get anybody to help me. I've been locked up 25 years. My mom is 84. She's dealing with dementia. I don't bother her with nothing other than telling her that everything is fine. I lost my daughter. Everything is just, turned on me. But I still got hope. I got hope. I'm keeping my faith, and I know that the truth will come out. The truth will come out. God didn't put you, He didn't put everybody else in my life just to show me, hey, you're gonna die in there. You're just gonna die in there. And so I know He's opening the doors, like you said, it's in His time. But the fact of it is, it's the corruption here in the state of Texas that allows these prosecutors, and I'm sure it's around the world too, because there's been so many wrongful convictions, so many people who've been exonerated. And like I try to explain to it, I don't want a free ride out. If you say you have evidence against me, use that evidence against me. Convict me. Give me a new trial under the new evidence, not under this false testimony or false evidence that y'all brought against me. You're saying that Pedro Zamora hired me to do this shit, but yet again, now you're saying that there's no evidence to corroborate his statement that he even had anything to do in this case. Wants to bring a case against him, even though you used the Jesse Hernandez who lied about his whole identity all the way through the grand jury process. And yet here I am, 25 years later, I'm still convicted. And it's sad. It's sad that our judicial system is like this. It's sad that people such as myself have to suffer and go through this type of anguish and stuff, because I had a lot of hate. It took me a long time to get rid of this hate, to get rid of this anger, and finally I just told God, I'm tired. Whatever you think you can do for me, I gotta let you handle it. I started studying law. I did everything that the law tell me just so they can turn me down. I know I ain't no scholar, but I did the best I can, and I'm still continuing to do the best I can. And like I said, I thank you very much for allowing me to share this story, even though it's in a nutshell, because I don't know how much time we got. I got 30 minutes on this phone, but even though this is a blessing to me, I'm just hoping there's people out there that can relate to what's going on and give their input, help bring justice, help the change. They're saying that they don't want to punish the prosecutors because it'll fail. It'll keep them from doing their job. Well, everybody from the Supreme Court of the law says it's not to convict the innocent. It's to convict the guilty and protect the innocent. But the old adage of guilty until proven innocent don't even exist no more, because they're going to find you guilty before you're even proven guilty. So I don't know how else to put that. You know what I'm saying?
Wow. And I watched, I mean, even the lady that from KSAT 12, you know, she spoke highly of you and how she truly believed in the case, you know, and believed that, I mean, just listening to her, you know, she said she never going into the prison, she said she felt at peace and she felt that you were telling the truth. You know, and it's sad that people can hear the truth. We hear the truth, we see the truth, but we still will stand on a lie because we don't want other people that have power and people that have the money and the power to be offended or to be put in a place. And this is happening too much in the state of Texas. Too many people are incarcerated in the TDCJ that should not be incarcerated because of falsified documents and all types of things. I mean, you have a system where you allow lawyers that have been DA that become assistant district attorneys, become district attorneys, and then they go on to sit on the Court of Appeals where they truly lock y'all out the system and act like y'all don't exist. We won't even talk about the parole board.
Exactly. You know, it was said that I even had a surprise witness come in that I didn't even know. His name was Charles Rodriguez. He was in a federal halfway house when ex-Congressman Albert Bustamante, who wound up losing his congressmanship and went to a federal prison because of the deceased, Mr. Garcia. Something about some bribery, so he wound up losing his congressmanship. This guy said that that Mr. Bustamante said he had $50,000 to put a hit on Mr. Garcia, right? And but the judge and them they just like took all the jurors out and all this and tried to do an in-camera investigation of the guy. Well, they had he was a assistant federal prosecutor because I had a federal prosecutor and a state prosecutor prosecuting my case, and they brought in this federal prosecutor that said, well, the guy who's testifying, Charles Rodriguez, is a kook. You know, he lied about he was just a newly appointed judge, but he said he was actually an assistant federal prosecutor. And because this guy said he didn't want to give Albert Bustamante's name, but then he brought out Albert Bustamante's name, so they said, no, well, his testimony is no good, so they let him go. Everything that had something to do in favor of me, the judge, you know, dismissed it. They denied it. You know, he even said, do you know, like Mr. Legate? He says, no, I don't know him. I never even heard of him. But there was a guy that my attorney gave an affidavit where supposedly this guy was flown in from California that was Hungarian descent and had somewhat features that I told the investigators, and I do a sketch, and I told the investigators that he looked like. I told them, look, everything happened so fast, so fast. I couldn't tell you how tall he was or short or fat or what, but I knew he had something on his head. I couldn't tell you if he was black, Mexican, or white because he was like a lightish colored person, you know, and like I said, everything happened so fast that I just burned off. I ran, you know, and I regret that. I wish I would have got shot. See what I'm saying? I wish it would have been me, and at least I wouldn't be here. You know, Mr. Garcia could have been, you know, saved. But it didn't turn out like that. But either way, it's like they're killing me anyway because I'm living a slow death. I'm 62 years old right now. Who's going to say how much longer I got? Who knows if only God knows if I'm going to die in this penitentiary for a crime that I didn't commit. You know, but like I said, I still got faith. And I'm not giving up. I'm not going to give up. I'm never going to give up. I'm going to fight and continue to fight. And but all these little things, they all add up. It's just the fact is that nobody wants to see it. Everybody believes, or not everybody, I retract that. I say just a majority of people believe, well, if you're convicted, that means you're guilty. Well, it don't work like that. You know, the prosecutors, they like to mislead people to believe something that ain't true, just like they mislead the jurors to believe that Pedro Zamora hired me to do a hit because of a person that lied about his whole identity. So they believe that this happened. Okay, but now look at it. If they heard that, well, we can't, there's nothing to prove that he even had anything to do with the case, so we can't bring a case against him, how would the outcome come now? They probably wouldn't even convicted me. But that didn't happen. They twisted everything. They manipulated. They're trustees of the state. We're supposed to put our faith in them, in justice. Even the scales of justice, they're tipped. She's not even blindfolded anymore. She's already looking at everybody. Well, you know what? I don't like this guy, so we're going to convict him. I'm not going to give him the due process right that he has. I'm not going to give him anything that he deserves to have a fair and impartial trial. We're just going to take that away from him and convict him. And this is how the system works. And it's sad, but it's true. I've learned a lot since these 25 years that I've been locked up, all these years that I've studied and read and reread to try to understand the laws. I had a 10th grade education with a GED, but I learned and I learned and I read and I read and I read, and I continue to try to grow stronger and stronger in what my belief is and understanding law the way it's interpreted. But when you interpret it the way the judges interpret it, it's like if the lawyers don't. It's like you said, every lawyer, if you look at every judge, they're ex-district attorneys. So if you're an ex-district attorney and another district attorney comes into your courtroom, of course you're going to lean more favor, so you're going to become either the second or the third chair for the prosecutor. The defense attorneys, what chance do they got? They got to go and try to play the game. I call it a game of chess. You're either going to be able to overpower them or you're not, because you're playing with rules of the court. And the court decides what is admitted and what's not admitted. And so where is the justice? Where is the justice? I know the court system failed me. Yes, okay, I had a pass.
Now 1 minute left.
I had a pass, but I tried to make up for it. It wasn't even nothing bad. I got involved with drugs. That's all it was. I was dumb. I was young. But anyway, it's going to hang up. The phone's going to hang up. I thank you, Angela, and I thank the people out there for giving me time to listen to my story, and I'm hoping that I can call again maybe continue this conversation.
Anytime. If you want to call back now, you can. If you want to call back next week, we can do it next week. Whatever you want to do, it's fine with me.
I can call back right now if it's okay.
That's fine.
Okay, I'll call right back.
All right.
Bye.
The caller has hung up.
So y'all see what I deal with and why I go so hard and fight for different things, because this is just one of many stories that are happening in the state of Texas, right there in the Tdcj, and the things that these people have to endure with being incarcerated and being behind prison walls, wrongfully and overly incarcerated. All this evidence, that hearsay evidence, convicted a man and will not let the truth come out. Now, there are thousands of people. I know a lot of people, just like he said, there are a lot of people out there like, well, if he in prison, then he had to do something. Yeah, I used to think the same way. Until I started meeting these people, conversating with these people, and finding out their stories. Y'all, it's sad. And the state of Texas need to be held accountable for what they have done for now 3 to 4 decades. Y'all, that is too long. That is too long for people to continue to turn the blind eye to the things that are happening in the state of Texas. I will not sit down. I will not be quiet. The Free Texas campaign is here to hold these people accountable, that have the power to make these decisions, to make sure that they are upholding the law and making sure that these laws that are in place are being upheld. They need to reconstruct that parole board. There's a lot of stuff, y'all, that need to take place that is not taking place within the state of Texas, down from the governor to the senators, to the representatives, state representatives, and so on. City council people, these people need to be held accountable. They need to be held accountable. We have Mr. Legate back.
But accountability, everything is going to keep going on. But who can give the accountability? I mean, it's like prosecutors got the free reign to do whatever they want. You know, it doesn't matter what the prosecutors, what the law says, because they know how to manipulate the law. They know how to lie. They know how to manipulate. They know how to mislead jurors. You know, because remember, the jurors of our peers are just regular people. They could be a housewife. They could just be a college student. You know, they could just be somebody who really don't know anything about the law, which 99% of everybody who gets locked up don't know anything about the law. You know, we're supposed to understand it. According to one judge who I wrote, and he says, "Hey, ignorance to the law is no excuse. You should have known it." I'm like, "Oh, you know, what's the purpose of attorneys then?" You know, we put our faith in attorneys. We put our faith in the judicial system. We put our faith in what is right. But does it happen? No.
Because that's what we've been taught. That's what we've been taught. Exactly. And unfortunately, they are taking advantage of that. They have taken advantage of that, and they use it. They use it for their monetary gain, because they have labeled it the pay to play scandal. That's what they do. They pay for this and pay for that. There's been instances where lawyers have been given multiple cases. Like I heard a case. There's a guy on one of these, in one of those units, where he say there was 3 capital murder cases going on at the same time of his case. They deliberated on his case within 4 hours. How? On a capital murder case? How are you going to deliberate in 4 hours? Like, it's so much that has taken place in the state of Texas. Texas needs to be ashamed of themselves. The people that live in the state of Texas need to hold these people accountable, and they need to stop sitting down and just allowing any and everything to take place. It's not fair. And you live in the state of Texas, but you allow, and you know that corruption is going on. I am not in Texas, but I can go on the internet and Google corruption in the state of Texas, and so much pop up. I don't know how the people that sit on these elected officials that know that all this stuff is going wrong and know this, but they still turn a blind eye, and they close their ears to a deaf ear to stuff that they hear. It's not fair to the citizens. They have failed the citizens of Texas. Every elected official, we hold you accountable for all the wrong that has taken place. Y'all need to step up. Somebody need to step up and take the lead on this corruption, because it's too much. It's too much.
You know, I wrote the Bexar County District Attorney when he got placed in the office, Joe Gonzalez, and explained to him everything that was going on by their prosecutor, Juanita Vasquez Gardner. She was the one in charge of my case, right? The fact of the matter that she knew that Jesse Hernandez was not Jesse Hernandez. She never corrected this. She never brought it to my attorney's attention, which I believe she even admitted that in the documentary, which I have never seen because I'm not allowed to see it. But what people tell me, but she should be held accountable because she took advantage of her position. And I brought it to the judge's attention. I first brought it to Nicholas LaHood when he first got put into office. But my letter just got ignored. The same thing happened when Joe Gonzalez took over as district attorney. My letter got ignored, or it just got passed over to the Bexar County Integrity Unit, which asked me to file a claim on it. And I didn't want to do it because I know that I have one more bite at the apple, and I'm not just going to jump and bite on it so that they can just turn me away, and then I lost my shot. So right now I've been praying that maybe some attorney might be willing to help me pro bono, you know, but you know that's on God's time, like I said. But other than that, like I see that there's so many things that has transpired. It's even like Robert Montes and Gilbert De Hoyos. These two were supposedly at this meeting that Jesse Hernandez said that I was at when Pedro Zamora was telling me, hey, you need to take care of this guy, which he said in abogado. And abogado in Spanish means attorney, right? And Ms. Juanita Vasquez Gardner said, oh, well, that's just a term used loosely for anyone that helps people, which he said that Mr. Garcia did, the deceased. He helped out a lot of people, and which we know that's not true. But either way, they were never subpoenaed except Robert Montes, but he never showed up at my trial. They were never indicted because under the laws in the state of Texas, if you are part of a conspiracy when a crime is going to be committed, even though that you don't do nothing, you become what falls under the laws of party. In other words, you're responsible for the conduct of another because you failed to stop it or report it. You see what I'm saying? If you let it go, it's like if you went ahead and did it yourself. And there's a lot of people that are in prison for that right now, even though that they didn't have nothing to do with it, they knew about it, but they didn't stop it. So they get punished. So these people, Gilbert De Hoyos and Robert Montes, they're gone. I even had an investigator go and try to find both of these individuals so I can find out, hey, what's going on here? Y'all know this is a lie. And but I never could find Gilbert De Hoyos, although we found a Robert Montes. We did send him a certified letter because the investigator wasn't able to contact him personally. So what I did is I sent a certified letter to his mom's house. But I don't know if he ever got it or what. And I told him, look, you're being a part of this case. I'm just letting you know. I don't know what's going on or why they're using you for this, but you know this. You need to come up and tell the truth because if I ever have a new trial, I'm going to subpoena you. You know, and so you can clear the record on this or whatever it is. And I found in what they call it the prosecution guide report. It's a compilation of an investigator, the detective's investigation, everything dealing with where the murder happened, everything dealing with that murder, where he even goes and investigates everybody. It's got a summary report of what they said, what he did, and what it is. It's a whole guide that they give to the prosecutors, and the prosecutors build their case on this prosecution guide report. Well, I found that Robert Montes was in there, but he said that we were talking, and at first I couldn't remember who he was, but I remembered when I saw him because when I went to Mexico Nice, a bar, and he was there. And I have a son who's borderline schizophrenia, and we were talking about how I was going to, I was kind of upset in a way, or really not upset. I was debating on ever having to commit my son to an institution, or what. You know, I was, getting his information, his input on this. Anyway, so he talks about that in there. But nowhere in there did they talk about the investigators asking him, hey, do you know anything about this murder? Do you know anything about this? There's nothing in there. So where did this come from, and how come the investigators or anybody didn't try to go pull an indictment or anything on these guys? You know what I'm saying? Those are another key points to my case that they failed to investigate. First, you're telling me that the gunshot residue, there's none, but you're using the indeterminate to say, oh, it's okay, just because there's none there doesn't mean that he didn't shoot the gun. Well, scientific evidence now that I realize, especially if you have a snub nose 38, it's going to clearly fill your hands with gunshot residue, especially if you have it's a snub nose 38. There's so much there, and like I said, and another thing, the file that I had on Miss Maddox during my time of looking for her car, I always kept it on my briefcase, and which they said that they found like a block away from the scene of the crime. All by itself, remember, all my stuff is thrown on the floor. But it's like if somebody dumped it on the floor. And they found the briefcase at an abandoned apartment in back of the place, the home health division, home health care, and they said it was just laying there in plain view for anybody to see, and right next to it was a gun toss. The only thing they found in that briefcase was a receipt with my name on it. But all my other stuff, my credentials and everything was inside the office. And I told him, I'm not disputing not going there because I did go. I was looking for a mail and back. He said, well, where's the paperwork? I said, it's supposed to be right there with my file. But it wasn't. See, we did also learn that at the day of the murder, after everything happened, after the detectives left, I think the next day, the worker who used to work with Mr. Garcia, the deceased, Maria Alvarez, I think it was, she and some other people went and ransacked the whole office, started taking out all kinds of boxes and stuff like this. Well, now you just destroyed evidence that could have been used. What happened to all this evidence? See, but that never came up either. You know, my attorney has an affidavit to all this fact and everything that it involves stuff like this. You know what I'm saying? So, where is the justice? What faith can we have in the justice system if even our own attorneys cannot properly defend us? Where do we stand? You know, it's like, oh, well, I made a deal with the prosecutor, so I'm just going to go ahead and just do a mediocre. And it took my mom. My mom is the one who actually paid for my attorney, you know, and so, I mean, here you're cheating her. She paid for my appeal. She did everything she could as a mother would do for her son because she knew that they were wronging him, you know, and, but still, nothing prevailed. I'm still here 25 years later, you know, and now the guy that supposedly hired me to do it here is free. He'll never face any criminal charges, you know, and they don't want to bring him back because they know that they don't have nothing against him, and I'm going to show that fact too because I didn't do nothing, you know. So again, where is the justice? You know,
wow.
I don't understand this, and this is why I'm hoping, and I pray all the efforts that you're doing, Angela, all the efforts that y'all are dedicating, all the time and effort that the people out there, the public, put out a voice, you know, try to get some change, get some truth. There was a guy named Michael Morton who was actually killed at 25 years for the so-called murder of his wife. The prosecutor withheld evidence for years, for 25 years until they discovered it. A bloody bandana that had somebody else's DNA on it. You see, I have gone through innocence projects, but even then, they want DNA. I don't have DNA. They thought that I had blood on my white shirt. It was an ivory color shirt. They thought I had blood on it because there was so much blood. They said it's on the video in the office. I didn't have no blood on me, none. You know, it was like a drop of hot sauce or something. Because I remember I was eating some chips with some hot sauce, and some got on my shirt. That even the waitress, she even said, yes, I remember him dropping some hot sauce on his shirt. She said, yes. Then one of them said that I opened the blinds. The sister said, no, my sister opened the blinds. Everything is contradicted. Everything can show difference, but what happens? The prosecutors know how to manipulate the minds and mislead the jurors. They have this profession. It's like if they have a school for training them how to deceive people. And if I go to another district attorney and bring them something, they're gonna try to make excuses for it. Right is right, wrong is wrong. Look at Ken Paxton. Ken Paxton did all this stuff. He's got a lot of people whistleblowing on him. But because of who he is, oh, it's okay. He didn't mean it. But put somebody else in that spot that don't have the position as him. Oh, they're going to convict him. They're going to give him a lot of time. You know?
And that's exactly what I said. And he sit in that, and they act like nothing was wrong. But you got a mistress, and your wife sitting right here on the Senate floor. And they act like nothing was wrong. They slapped him on his wrist and let him go back to work on that Sunday. It's a sad day in Texas, and I'm begging the state of Texas, those citizens in Texas, because I have quite a few people that are in Texas that follow my platform. Y'all need to stand up, and y'all need to say enough is enough, because I know it may happen to your family member. It has not happened yet, but your family may be next. And it's time for people to stand up. This has been going on far too long. I'm talking about 3-4 decades of cover-up, of corruption. And it ain't just made up stuff. I'm saying anytime you can go on the internet and Google corruption in Texas and all kind of stuff pop up, all kind of pictures pop up, it's something. And people need to take notice to it. Not only do they need to take notice to that, they need to take notice to who they letting out, how they let them out, and how this parole board is set up. The governor is taking this not under the U.S. Constitution too far. It's like they playing God and they playing with people's lives. And it's time out for that.
Exactly.
It's time out for that.
Exactly.
It's time out for that. So I want you to truly put out a plea to the people, because I'm going to be sharing this as much as I can through all of my platforms and all of my outlets. I'm going to share this. And I really want I want you to put a plea out to whoever may listen, the governor, the elected officials, whoever may hear this. Put a plea out to them on today.
It's like, okay, it's like I always tell people, you don't have to believe what I'm saying. Just look at the evidence. Go look at the documentary entitled "Conviction/The Bingo King Murder" on YouTube. Read the story and the burden of proof, and from the Texas Observer magazine. Look who Mr. Garcia was in the May issue of 1999 Texas Monthly magazine. That's entitled "The King is Dead. Long Live the King." Look at all that and put it together. And if you can see anything, if anybody knows how to retrieve videos from the trial, I'd like to get that, because that'll prove that they edited my transcript. This is how far the corruption goes. All I'm asking is for everybody to don't believe me. Look at it yourself. See it for yourself. Come up with your own opinion. See what justice is, if this is justice. Does justice believe in keeping somebody innocent in prison? What is justice? How can we define it? How do we look at it? Is it because, your jury of your peers convicted you, does that mean that they're guilty? Please, don't let others define the truth for you. Look at the truth for yourself. Find it. And see that I have been wrongfully convicted as many others have in the state of Texas. This is all I'm asking. I think I should have an opportunity as anybody else to have a fair and impartial trial with evidence that is valid, not false testimony or false evidence. It shouldn't be based on what somebody who lied about his identity. It shouldn't be made about what they want to make up to convict me. A man who's supposedly hired now, he's never going to face criminal charges, but yet again, here I am. What kind of justice is that? Please. That's all I'm asking. Please. Look into it. Look into the truth. That's all I'm asking. Thank you.
Wow. And one question I want to ask you, what was your jury makeup like?
Excuse me?
What was your jury makeup?
I'm sorry.
What was your jury makeup?
Sure.
Yeah, how was your jury of peers made?
It was like a mixture of Hispanics. I think there was a couple of blacks and then a couple of whites. But what I did learn that there was a juror that was there who didn't want to convict me, but everybody else said, "No, you got to convict him." But then I found out that one of the jurors' sons broke into my sister's house and stole some property, which they got back. But I'm not sure if this was before or after. I just heard about it. But other than that, the jurors were basically regular people. You had, some were in medical fields, some were in warehousing, some were just homebodies. But it was a mixture of people. Yes. A lot of them probably didn't even understand what the prosecutors were saying or how to decipher the truths when they brought something forward, because I'm pretty sure this is why they told that one person, "Hey, it don't make no sense." They said, "But you got to find him guilty." Oh, and then the foreman of the foreman was actually an acquaintance of the deceased. So go figure that. Even though they say, "Oh, I can be fair and impartial," is it really being fair and impartial? If it is, to who? Because it wasn't to me.
Wow.
So it's crazy. crazy. The system is a corrupt system. You know, and I believe the guilty should be punished. I do believe that for a fact. I believe it was on my heart. But I don't believe that the justice was meant to convict innocent people. I don't care what their past is. If they may have had a past a long time ago, it shouldn't affect them having a fair and impartial trial. It shouldn't affect them losing all constitutional rights. You know, because if that's the case, then you might as well throw the Constitution in every right that we have on the floor. You shouldn't even use it. You should just say, hey, okay, well, we're just going to get this guy convicted because that's what we can do. That's what we're going to do. Take away the justice, scales of justice. Because that's what's being happened right now. It's being tilted more for guilty until proven innocent. And it was innocent until proven guilty. You see, so where does this lie? Even like I said, the jurors don't even understand or can comprehend what it's like if they don't understand what the law represents. They read to them things. Some of them can probably have a deficiency of understanding what they're being told. You know, that's just something I'm putting out there. I can't say that that's the case here, but what's the possibility? You know, there's so many possibilities out there that they can be easily influenced. Like that lady, hey, you got to find him guilty. You got to find him guilty.
So if there's anybody out there that can assist, what is one of the most pressing things that you are in need of assistance with right now?
Really, the most precious thing right now is helping me file the proper writ. Anything like this, or even helping me understand how I can obtain the videos of my trial. Because as you know, 60 Minutes, 2020, Dateline News, when they're showing some kind of case that's 30, 40 years old, they have video clippings.
Right.
I'm trying to show and prove that they also altered my transcripts, which I complained about. In the beginning, when I first got my transcripts, I noticed that when they asked Jesse Hernandez, did anybody see you a gun? He said no. That's missing from my transcripts. So they didn't allow me not even to have a fair trial. They deprived me of having a fair appeal. I couldn't even get the appeal right because my transcripts are wrong. There's inaudible words in there that my attorney's trying to give the prosecutor a date of the different statements that their star witness, Jesse Hernandez, gave. He gave multiple different statements to the police before testifying before the grand jury with what he testified now. I've been trying to get the grand jury testimony showing that it was based on Purge's testimony, but I've been denied. Every motion that I file, everything that I do, has been denied. I tried, and like I said, I'm just doing everything pro se because I cannot afford it, and I can't afford the attorneys. I can't do this, and I'm afraid I can do my own 1107, but I'm afraid that this last fight I had I get too, how do you say, too sentimental with it because it's personal. You know, I come out with so much, even like now when I'm talking, I'm bringing out a lot of facts that may be distorting to people because I'm moving around so much. So can you imagine if I'm doing my writ? It's going to be a little distorted. This is why I tell people, don't believe anything that I'm saying. Review it. Look at the documentaries. Look at the case. You can Google my name, James Legate, Legate, and everything about me is going to pop up. All my documentaries, the cases, everything done. It's all going to pop up. You know, and so this is what I need. I need help. I need help fighting this case. I need help so I can present it in court and have some merit to it. So that all I'm asking is they can help me try to get an evidential hearing on this fact, so that maybe I can get a new trial. I don't want to be exonerated. You know what I'm saying? If you're saying I'm guilty for a crime that I did not commit, show the evidence. Put out the evidence. They say that shows in the documentaries that even though we wouldn't have used Jesse Hernandez, there's a lot of evidence that could have convicted him anyway. Okay, if that's the case, for argument's sake, let's do it. Let's go to court again. Bring out this evidence. I'm not afraid of this because I know I didn't do nothing. And I want to see there, say especially now with everything that I know regarding the rules, the laws, and stuff. You ain't just gonna run over me. Not like that no more. I was ignorant at first and into law, but everything I know now, I mean, I just need help. I need help. And if anybody is willing to help me, not only, even if it's suggestions, even if it's whatever it is, or information that I can write somebody or I can go to somebody, I'd appreciate it. I can go through you, which you'll be able to contact me, and then for whatever they believe that they can do. I mean, support with prayers, that's a great thing too. Because I believe prayers is a foundation of hope. And I have hope. But sometimes I feel a little weak. And I need this spiritualist. I need to be able to continue to stand.
Right.
And keep my head up high and show people, that I'm gonna always fight. I'm gonna always fight. I know that no matter what's gonna happen, I got 5 more years to come up for parole. But like I said, the prosecutor, Juanita Vázquez Gardner, put in my file that she recommended that I never be given parole because this crime was committed while I was on parole. I needed 72 days to complete my parole. 72 days. But look, for what? Now I have 25 years for a murder I didn't commit. I lost my daughter in 2006. She died of a heart failure. And, I got my mom that I'm afraid that I'm going to lose. So, I mean, how much more punishment do I have to go because of this corrupt system? It's hard on me. I just thank that I have a sister out there looking after my mom. I got a granddaughter that's helping her living better. And, but it would be great for me to be able to be there with her, so I can help her. But, like I tell her, just keep the faith, Mom. We'll be there. I'll be there one day. And, but that's all. But that's what I actually would like if somebody was able to help me. If there was an attorney, a paralegal, college student, anybody who believes in justice, who wants to see justice. I was hoping to have a hashtag put out there where it says hashtag Words of Justice for Legate. It'll show the documentaries, the stories, everything that people can just go to. I tried doing a GoFundMe to help raise money for an attorney fees, but they don't do legal stuff. So I tried to go to a Christian organization called Give Sin Go, and it was up for about a year, but I didn't have nobody to promote it. And then I just all of a sudden disappeared. I don't know what happened to it. We had $100 donated by the Band of Brothers, which is a Christian organization. But even that, we don't know what happened to the money. I don't know what happened. So, I'm trying everything I can. And if anybody out there, like I said, is willing to help me, I'd be very, very grateful. Very grateful. And I know that God will be pouring blessings upon y'all. And, anyway.
Well, I definitely, I want to thank you for stopping, for allowing me to share your story. And I'm definitely going to.
You have 1 minute left.
I'm definitely going to be praying for you. And you're welcome to come back anytime and share whatever it is that you want to get out. This has to stop.
Okay.
And I just want to thank you. Know that I'm here. So I'm going to do all that I can do to shed light.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Angela. Thank you, and the people out there, thank you. And the phone's going to hang up, so I don't want it to hang up on us. So I'm just going to have to say thank you again, and blessings to all of y'all.
All right.
And I hope to get some feedback.
Yes. Talk to you soon.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Y'all be blessed.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Goodbye.
Well, I want to thank you guys that tuned in live, those that will hear this as a replay. If there's anything that has been shared on today that may have touched your heart, I want you to reach out to me and see how you can help the Free Texas campaign. We're not trying to change any laws. We're not trying to come against the judicial system. We just want people to be held accountable when they do wrong and they have power. We want them to be held accountable. Those that in those laws that are in place, we just want the laws observed. We just want what's right to come forth. That's how we want. We're not trying to change nothing. Now the one thing that we could change is that parole process. Now that does need reforming. But the laws, enforce the laws that are in place that will help free some of these people. State of Texas need to be held accountable. And I am not backing down. So know that you are on notice. Thank y'all. Please share this every Monday. If they want to come on and share, I'll be right here sharing their stories. Somebody got to do it. And Texas need to be held accountable. Y'all have a great day. Y'all have a great week. Know that the Queen love you. And please share this in your circle. Because this too could be somebody in your family.